Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. It's Lauren and today our model is Ella. We're doing a second session going lighter. We did not film the first session, but obviously you can see the results from it. This is how it faded out, and this is the end result from the video today, our second session. So we can hop right in and we can tell you exactly how we ended up doing everything, all of our formulas, and if you want to watch, stay tuned. All right, so getting into it, we are starting off doing a full highlight, rotating between some slices and some weaves, some thinner weaves, some chunkier weaves. We're kind of throwing it all in there today. And to start off, we are doing a full highlight, and this is Wella, blondourplex, and I think we started with 10 volume and ended with 20. So each bowl we mixed up, we added a little bit more 20 into the bowl. So we're starting off here in the back. I alternated from side to side and then into the middle, and I rotated until I got to the top of the section here where I'm just doing all the way up on the top, just straight up, not on an angle. And I did this because I wanted a little bit more coverage once I got to the top. I didn't want as much dimension when I got to the top. And I'm feathering my lightener down into some of the other spots that were a little bit darker. And in our first section, we exposed some warmth, which was inevitable since she had so much color buildup on her hair. So I'm just dragging it through some of the orange banding that was left and some of the darker pieces, and obviously her old root shadow and her natural regrowth. Okay, so now that we're in the front, I'm doing two back-to-back highlights right on her face just so she can get a little bit brighter right there, so she has a nice little soft money piece. And then you can see I'm pushing out the little baby hairs to the side. I'm going to put those in an extra separate little foil just because I don't want to over process them and put them in another foil, and I can pull it when it's ready. And then for the rest of this section, I'm just going to do diagonal highlights all the way throughout this section until I get to the top, and then I will repeat this on the other side. All right, now we're in the Mohawk, so you can see a little bit more clearly what I'm doing here. This whole section I'm baby lighting through. I'm taking really small sections, not very much hair left between the foils, and everything is kind of a really small weave. So you can see a little bit better here what I'm doing. All right, and then right here I just moved the camera so you could see a little bit better of what I was doing and what sections I actually ended up putting lightener through. So you can see right here at the top her natural regrowth here in a second. Right there's her natural regrowth, and then I'm just dragging through the lightener in some of those darker spots that you saw when I put the section down, and kind of just feathering it lightly over where that orange band is because it is lighter than the rest of her darker hair, but I do want to push it just a little bit more just to get a little bit more lift because we don't want her hair to be orange. We want it to be nice and pretty and bright blonde. So we're just going to continue this through the rest of her Mohawk. We'll go ahead and do the same thing through the whole section, and I'll come back in a minute for when we do her tip out. Okay, here we are doing our tip out. We're basically tipping everything out because we want everything to be a little bit lighter, but we don't want to put all of her ends into a foil and over process them. So we're going to do this open air with the same lightener and 20 volume, and I think we only let the rest of this sit honestly for about maybe 20-25 minutes, and it was not under heat. We let her sit in the chair. I think I actually ended up getting a haircut while she processed. So this is exactly what we're doing, and making sure everything's open air and her ends are fully saturated so we get a nice, even, bright blonde for our finished result, and it will make toning everything so much easier later on. All right, and then this is what she looked like after she lifted her raw lift, and we're going in and doing all of our toning. So right now we're going in with her root shadow, which is Wella Shinefinity. I will put the exact formulas in the description box below, but we did end up doing 2 separate root toners. We did a little bit of a darker root and a little bit of a cooler root for this section right here. And then you can see we have her mohawk clipped off. We ended up going in with a little bit lighter and not as cool color for her mohawk section. Just 1, to give her a little bit more color variation, and 2, she didn't really want to do a really drastic root. We just needed to do something to kind of blend everything together and make sure we didn't have any stitch lines and that everything can grow out nice and easy for her. And especially since there's so many colors going on, we just needed to even everything out. So that is why we ended up doing it this way. And then I do leave her money pieces out right under her hairline for the last few minutes, just so that those don't get too dark, because like we said, we want them to be nice and bright. And then we go in here in just a second. Right here, we're doing her retouch on her mohawk section, which is basically the exact same formula, just about a level or so lighter, just to give her a little bit more softer, dimensional kind of look. Because like she said, she wanted to be mostly blonde. She didn't really want a super drastic root. We just kind of wanted to blend everything together. And then here in a second, we will go in and gloss her ends, and this ended up being, I believe, Redken Shades EQ 8V9N. I will put everything in the description box below if you want to double check our formulas, but that is what we did. And I will let you guys watch the rest of this video to see how her after turned out. And this was her finished product. This is right after the sunset, so the lighting isn't the greatest, but these are the shots we did end up getting. We ended up trimming it too, just a little bit. Excuse her cape that didn't get clipped all the way. But this was her after. We absolutely loved it. We hope you guys love it, and we'll see you in the next video.